Some are bluntly saying that
Russian prisoners of war and their relatives are asking not to be included in exchanges, fearing that returning to Russia will result in interrogations, humiliation, and repeated deployment to the front. Some are bluntly saying that their loved ones would be better off remaining in Ukraine and even obtaining Ukrainian citizenship than falling back into Russian hands. Even before being sent to the front, Russian soldiers are told that it's better to blow themselves up with a grenade than to surrender to Ukrainians. In 2022, Russia officially criminalized voluntary surrender, hoping to intimidate mobilized soldiers. Earlier this year, Russian soldier Roman Ivanin received one of the first such sentences. After returning from Ukrainian captivity, he was sentenced to 15 years in a maximum security penal colony on charges of voluntary surrender, attempted surrender, and desertion. The story of 31-year-old Igor Dolgopolov, captured in August after being sent to the Chesova area, is telling. His relatives fear that if exchanged, he will once again end up on the front lines. One of Dolgopolov's relatives bluntly told journalists that the soldiers would be better off remaining in Ukraine, living there and even taking Ukrainian citizenship. He claimed that those who return from captivity are no longer trusted, humiliated, and effectively punished for surviving. As the Wall Street Journal reports, a paradoxical and frightening phenomenon has emerged in Russia. Relatives of Russian soldiers captured by Ukraine fear their release and exchange. The reason is simple. After returning to Russia, former prisoners of war are isolated, interrogated by the security services, discredited, and often sent back to the front. Against this backdrop, Ukrainian prison camps seem like a much safer and more humane place for them. During their isolation, former prisoners are interrogated by the FSB, the Investigative Committee, and the Military Prosecutor's Office. In some cases, security forces search for signs of treason or collaboration with the enemy, while in others, they investigate criminal cases. In 2022, Russia criminalized voluntary surrender. This turned the very act of survival into a crime. After a month of interrogation, most of the returning soldiers are sent back to their units. Some are stripped of their weapons and relegated to humiliating menial tasks, cleaning, guard duty, and endless training. Others are sent straight back to the front. The Wall Street Journal reports the story of a middle-aged Russian soldier released from Ukrainian captivity earlier this year. He called his family and promised to return home in a few weeks. Instead, he was interrogated and then sent back to the front lines in the Donetsk region where he went missing. He is now presumed dead. The Wall Street Journal notes that the treatment of former prisoners of war in modern Russia increasingly resembles practices during World War II. Back then, surrender was considered treason, and returnees faced filtration camps and repression. The phrase attributed to Joseph Stalin, "We have no prisoners of war, only traitors," has today become an unspoken principle of the state. Once again, the icy ground crackling under their feet, an elite Ukrainian drone hunting team set up for a long night. According to Associated Press, antenna and sensors were clipped to a light stand, while monitors and controls were pulled from hard cases, and a game-changing new weapon was ready for deployment. The Sting, shaped like a flying thermos, is one of Ukraine's new homegrown interceptors. The unit's commander said they can effectively counter Russia's fast-evolving suicide drones, which are now flying faster and at higher altitudes. Every destroyed target is something that did not hit our homes. Our families, our power plants, said the officer, known only by the call sign, "Lie in line with Ukrainian military protocol. The enemy does not sleep, and neither do we." He said, "This is our land, and we will not allow them to fly here and destroy our cities and people." Nightly attacks on Ukrainian cities and power. infrastructure have forced Kiev to rewrite the air defense rulebook and develop cut-prick drone killers costing as little as MMA interceptors. Went from prototype to mass production in just a few months in 2025 and represent the latest shift in modern warfare. Effective defense in Ukraine depends on mass production, rapid adaptation, and layering low-cost systems into existing defenses instead of relying on a few expensive, slow-to-replace weapons. Models like the Sting and the newly appeared Bullet can surge in speed before crashing into enemy drones. They are flown by pilots, watching monitors, or wearing first-person view goggles. The economics are crucial. Andrei Lavanovic, member of the Strategic Council of the General Cherry Company, which develops the Bullet, said the drones they destroy cost anywhere from $10,000 to $300,000. We are inflicting serious economic damage. He said Russia favors the Iranian-designed Shahed suicide drone and has produced multiple variants of the triangle-winged craft armed with jammers, cameras, and turbojet engines in a constant battle of innovation. It's like arm wrestling, Lavanovic said. In some areas, they are one step ahead. In others, we invent an innovative solution, and they suffer from it. Federico Bassari, a defense analyst at the Washington-based Center for European Policy Analysis, said interceptors are a valuable addition to Ukraine's and Europe's anti-drone arsenal. Their success, he said, depends on sensors, fast command and music control, and skilled operators. They can be used in a menu of options that starts with multi-million-dollar missiles and ends with nets and anti-aircraft guns. Defense planners in Ukraine and NATO expected the hyperscaling of drone production on both sides of the conflict to continue in 2026, adding urgency to European plans to create a layered air defense system known as the drone wall. Foreign speech, foreign speech, foreign speech, of foreign, foreign.